Hello, I have a listener request for you today. Kira got in touch with me recently. Thanks very much for doing so. And she wants to know about phonetics. She recently learned that children in the UK learn about phonetics. Phonics. It's the same thing, isn't it? Probably. Learn about phonics in school, and she wanted to know what it was. I wanted to know more about it. Now, a long time ago, right at the start of this podcast, I did do an episode about this subject, about this topic, but I deleted it because most of the episode it was just me, pronouncing sort of like the alphabet, but phonetically pronouncing the alphabet like we learn at school. And I decided that was pretty boring to listen to. But this episode is going to be different. I'm just going to be telling you about what it is and what it is. Maybe giving you a bit of an example. But what I will do is I found a very good video on YouTube. And I will link to that in the description for this episode. And it's just this lady, and she goes through the whole alphabet, covering the different phonics, the different sounds, and she's got a very nice accent, and I think she does a good job of it. And you can see the sound she makes with her mouth. When she makes each of these letters. Phonic sounds. Right, so firstly, what are they? And I could probably do with some training myself. So it's almost, the way I remember thinking about this when I was a child is that you have the children's alphabet that children use, and you have the adults' alphabet that adults use. So the children's alphabet for me, instead of going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it went A, B, K, D, E, F, G, and so on and so on. And the reason we learn things like this when we're young is that it helps us to read. And it doesn't help us to pronounce because we already know how to speak English at this point. We're just learning how to read. So in the adults' alphabet, let's take the word cat. That's spelled C-A-T. So if you try to link together C-A-T, it's like C-A-T. C-8. C-8? That doesn't... What's that? What's C-8? You can't get it, can you? So like this children's alphabet or the phonics alphabet is K-A-T. That's how you spell cat, K-A-T. And if you link that together, K-A-T, cat, cat, it becomes cat, doesn't it? So using this method, this method of spelling or this alphabet, it becomes much easier for a child to learn to read. Now, I only remember covering the basics. So I only remember covering the sounds in the alphabet, so the A, B, C, D all the way to Z. But in this video that I will give you a link to, this lady goes on to she gives you all these different sounds, like the double O sound in book and the double O sound in moon, book and moon. Yeah, they're different sounds. Let me just listen to them now because I'm curious. I'm curious what she does. So hang on. Let me listen. Is for book. Okay. And what's moon? Ooh is for moon. Okay. Is for book. Ooh is for moon. I suppose so, yeah, because inside book you have and inside moon you have ooh. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, but I didn't learn, or at least I don't remember learning all of those extra bits at school. But I think it might be useful to learn this as someone studying English? It depends. It depends if you're having, let's say you're having a hard time pronouncing a word that you've read. You know, you see it in a dictionary, you don't really know it. I think phonics could be helpful then. I think that will probably get you a more accurate pronunciation of the word. But the best way, I think, for a language like English is to hear the word first, because some words are just, well, almost all the words are just so crazy. Like it's sometimes really hard to guess the pronunciation of a word, I think, in English. And even, it's almost like words have two ways you can say them, like something like thermometer. It could be read thermometer or thermometer, depending on how you stress the word, where you place the stress. Now, I know that dictionaries have that, like, that guide, don't they? They have like a pronunciation guide, and it has a name, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know anything about it. I just know there's loads of like funny little symbols, and I don't know what any of them mean. And I think most English people don't know what they mean, because it's almost like if you soak up enough English, if you absorb enough English into your brain, you can sort of guess the way that most things are pronounced. And even if you pronounce it incorrectly, at some point you'll probably hear someone else say it, you know, like, I don't know, a friend or on the television or in a film, and you'll just correct yourself over time, I think. I mean, yeah, but I suppose that kind of thing only happens if you're really immersed in English, you know, if you're using it every day, or maybe you're actually living in an English-speaking country, then I think that will definitely happen. You'll just self-correct yourself. But yeah, that's essentially what phonics are. It's the phonetic parts of English, which is weird because English is not a phonetic language. You know, the spelling isn't phonetic. You can't, like I was just saying, you can't read, you can't know how to pronounce a word based upon its spelling. You sort of have to learn that separately, don't you? You know, I remember, and maybe some other people, some other like British people will remember these, but in my school, we had when we were learning these phonics, we had these like these characters for every letter. Like, I remember, I think C was like curly cat, so it had like an example word in front of it. Curly cat, kicking king for K. I can't remember the rest. But like, I think if someone like showed them to me now, I would remember them all. They just sort of get stuck in your brain when you're young. And I can probably still say the whole alphabet, like phonetically. And I remember my my nephew, not that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago or a year ago, he was telling me that he'd been learning the alphabet or something like that, or phonetics or something, and he was saying like a, b, k, d, e, f, g, that kind of stuff. So yeah, they still teach it. It's still really helpful if you're learning to read English. I still don't know how helpful it is. You see, everyone who's listening to this podcast, you're all pretty like high intermediate, I think. Maybe like, well, I don't know. Are you low intermediate? Some people are advanced. Some people are definitely advanced who listen to this podcast because they contact me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and I think, wow, yeah, your level of English is really impressive. So maybe this isn't going to be useful for everyone, but definitely check out the video if you've never heard of this, if you've never heard about this. And don't know, maybe it's good for practicing. I know what it's good for. It's good for practicing the different mouth shapes and sounds that you come across in English, that you find in English. So yeah, just you can use it for that. Just practice along with the lady and try and copy her accent and her mouth sounds and positions, I guess. And maybe that will help. Maybe that will help with your pronunciation, like your accent or that kind of thing. Anyway, that is all for today. Until next time, bye-bye.